Morning. It's early. We got some good news yesterday. We got our paperwork sorted out, which has been nothing we were worried about. We have everything pretty legit and above board in every way, because that's just how we have to be in this world. I had a few folks reach out to me on about these videos. That makes me feel good talking to y'all and being open about my relationship with some of these things. It's been a good run, this life, and I said it last time or a couple episodes ago. Just never be sorry for being genuinely you, and that goes for every stage of your life. If genuinely you like to party, and hang out and dabble in some of the fun things that come with a Friday night or a Saturday night, I don't genuinely and generally don't have any issues with that. For me, that was something that was a part of me for a long time. I think if you look into those situations and those things internally, you can find internally what and when and where maybe they are too much. And it was a hard pill to swallow, which was kind of the part that sucked. It was admitting to myself that maybe I was in love with the certain feelings or chasing moments that you can't just recreate. I don't have a problem with someone wanting to have a drink. It's not gonna wreck a outlook or anything on my end. I think it's genuinely okay. A friend of mine, when you look at the social construct of this life and who we are as human beings and what we were taught, explained to me that, he found liquor to be a pretty okay tool if used and harnessed in the right way. But those people also, in my opinion, that find it to be a useful tool shouldn't also be in a negative outlook. If you don't want to drink and they do want to drink, you can still have those doorways and those pathways open with good, wholesome conversation, and you can have a water or Coke or whatever, a pop, a soda, along with them while they're having their beer or two. But it took me a long while to read the internal of myself and realize not necessarily that I had a problem, but I was going down the pathway of having a problem, that chasing the dragon, so to speak. I can remember the first time I had a cigarette. That was wild. The first time that my uncle let me try some dip. Awesome. Loved it. Like the head rush of nicotine. What a wonderful, wonderful drug that is. Wakes you up. Your brain fires on all cylinders. You're up, you're alert, you're aware of what's going on, and it feels good. You get like a legitimate couple minute high, and cloud nine, and that you hit that one, and then you're good. You're good for probably, you're good for the rest of the day, a couple hours, whatever it is. But forever after that. You're kind of chasing that feeling, and you get that feeling for, your first couple handful of days, and then the rest of the time you are literally chasing that feeling again and again and again. You need something stronger. And that's what sucks, is chasing that feeling of euphoria. And then for me, tried those things, nicotine, whatever, and then transferred into my friends in junior high school. Let's smoke weed. Boom. A different form of euphoria. It was such an illegal, stigma, bad thing for so long that I tried it couple handfuls of times. In high school, dabbled and experimented with it, and then I was kind of a goody two-shoes in the sense that I didn't want to do something that was illegal overly often, and so kind of put that to rest. And then drinking. First time you had a sip, that was gross. Why would any adult think that's delicious? Beer is yuck. When you're young, you first try it, like, what is that mess? And then as you get older, your palate changes a little bit. You find something else, mixed drinks, do it the right way, tastes more like pop, soda. But then you have just enough, and you feel that glow come in your cheeks. What is this? Your guards come down. Your ability to say no comes down. Your wanting to do something crazy or any of that. Everything kind of goes up a little bit. We were talking about going to Vegas as we got older and got jobs. We were talking about this last night. And I've been to Vegas a couple of times, and I was always told by some of my families and my aunts and uncles and my parents how cool Vegas was. There's just no end to what you think you might want to do, what you might want to see. It's probably there in some facet, some way, shape, or form. And the first bunch of times, the city never sleeps, and you can drink and walk around and do what you want when you want. And so the first bunch of times, that's what we did. We partied pretty hard, and you could drink all day, you could drink all night, you could eat fantastic food, and we thought we were having so much fun. And we were in our moments. We were. Wake up in the morning, headache, not going to feel like this all day, start over again. We went to Vegas, took our kids, and we always said, never taking our kids there. It's a 21 and older place. But we're living in the States now instead, so less people at our beck and call to just, hey, can you watch our kids for a weekend or 4 days while we meet our friends? Nope, they're coming with. Excuse me again, I'm sorry. It's early. But ripped down there, told the kids, you're hanging out with us. And they did so good. And anyway, my wife and I were talking about it with our friends last night. Finally did Vegas sober. And I had just as much fun, oddly enough. The only thing was, 9, 10, 11 p.m. comes rolling around, and we're doing what I'm doing right now, in the yawn mode, like, holy moly. It's not as easy to stay up as it once was, because I'm not ramming down a rum and coke or Red Bull vodka and flying by the seat of our pants filled with caffeine and whatnot. We're just kind of letting the day and walking and putting 3, 4, 5, 7 miles on, back and forth on the transit, city transit, from one end of the strip to the other, ripping to the mall. And you get back and you get finished up, and you're like, so you're clocking into bed at 10 instead of we're just getting started. we had so much fun. It was good. And it was a breath of fresh air to have just like remembered everything and not been getting blacked out. It felt good. That being said, I want to talk a little bit. That's about 10 minutes in. Fun story, I guess. I want to talk a little bit about drinking. I remember when I stopped drinking. I probably talked a little bit about this a couple episodes ago, but someone commented or reached out to me to talk to me about this, and I think it deserves repeating or deserves to go further in depth. I remember I was the kind of the party pickup at my job. I lived in a redneck, I don't know if that's the right word, a northern town, a small town that never has different rules, but we felt like we lived by different rules, so to speak. And we'd work all day. We'd be traveling back roads, log haul roads, oil and gas style roads. And I had a reputation with the younger generation coming up. I was already a journeyman, or was close to, and running my own pickup truck. And I always had a reputation as, well, if you ride with Halwa, you get to hide like an 8-pack in the vehicle, and you get to have a couple if you're in the passenger or the back seat, whatever. You get to have a couple on the way home, and yeah, that obviously served me well. I always had a passenger and some dudes to hang out with and visit on the way home from work. And then the day I'd had enough, I was depressed. We were just coming out of that COVID fiasco where everyone had to be locked in and do all the things that were probably ass backwards and wrong. Stay cooped up and stay inside and not go outside and all that blah blah blah. And I was pretty sad. Had ate all the food and wasn't going to the gym and was crushing 8 beer a day and, getting a little buzz on. And I finally had to look at myself in the mirror, and just be embarrassed. I was 300 pounds, stepped on the scale, and just, holy moly. And I had to make a rash, hard decision for myself, and I had to draw a line in the sand, and I had to hold myself to that, along with a little bit of help from my family, my wife, holding myself accountable. And I said, I'm not doing this anymore. I need to take a breather and a break. No more drinking. And it was good. It was fantastic. It was the best decision I've ever made. I don't miss it. Some I shouldn't say that. Some days I do miss it, because that addictive personality, that addictive mentality, the addictive nature that just stems and comes from all that garbage. I thought that was what I needed to have a fun game of cards. That's what I needed to be playing golf. That's what I needed to go out to the lake and sit by the fire in front of you, beer in one hand, smoke in the other hand. It was just baked in, and I didn't know what else to do. I was out of control, slowly spiraling into some version of a rock bottom. And so that's the things that I knew that I could change was, I knew that I could change what I was going to put in my body, from both liquor to food. And I knew that I could affect change in what I was going to output from my body going to the gym. So I made this mental decision right then and there. I looked at my wife. I said, take my picture. I never want to feel like this again. This is my before. And it was awful. awful to look at yourself and have that picture be the first thing you wake up to and you look at and know that this is why you're doing this. So I decided, yeah, I'm gonna take a month off of alcohol, and I'm gonna eat more healthy. And I mentioned this to the boys that I was riding to and from work with, and they said, "You, Halwa, you're gonna take a month off? I don't believe it. There's not a chance you're gonna be able to do that." What a wake-up call that was, because then all of a sudden, it's not even just me that realizes that I have a problem. Apparently, that's been a known thing around the bend for a little bit, that Halwa has a problem. So that kind of hurt my feelings and pissed me off, but I used it as fuel, and I pushed through that month. And every single day I felt the clouds and of fog lift. Every morning I woke up, no headache, oddly enough, no hangover, no stiff joints, no anything. It started to get better and better and better every day. And then that thing my boss said, well, it's a social tool, started to come into play. And I was no longer getting phone calls from the same people, some of my friends. I shouldn't do that. They're fantastic people, and they don't mean harm by it. But for whatever reason, some people, if they're drinking and you're not, they get intimidated or feel like they're being judged. And that's not at all what my thought process is, but I think I understand it. And unfortunately, or fortunately, like, I don't know what the true outcome of it all is, but all of a sudden I was lonely. All these people that I grew up with, that I thought were my people, that I loved dearly, either A, were no longer calling me, or were lipping me off for quitting drinking. Like, what are you doing? What do you mean you're quitting drinking? So, well, I need a breather. I need a break. And fast forward a little bit, I look backwards. Lost a ton of friends. I still see them. I still talk to them once in a while. They're good acquaintances of mine. But all of a sudden, that idea that I'm not just going to show up and put 12 beer in my guts negatively affected our relationship. And so I wanted to talk a little bit here at the tail end, just touch base on it, and I might go further in depth later on. But it's the one thing that my coach now, he uttered and repeated over and over and over and over again to us, is that it is a lonely chapter. Once you make that decision for yourself, you will feel utter loneliness. And this could be from your friends, from your family, aunts and uncles, even from your spouse. All these people that you thought had your back, all of a sudden they don't know why you're doing this, and they're not doing it, and they're not wrong. So just because you're doing it doesn't mean I have to do it. You're correct. Just because you're not drinking doesn't mean that I don't want to stop drinking. Correct. But I can't invite you out if you're not drinking with me. Why? I don't know. I don't know why people have that thought process or that stigma. But sometimes they do, and that's when you know. For me, the way that it makes sense is you're building a story. You know, you're here for one life, and at the end of the life, you're going to look at it as this chapter book, essentially, and what is filled in the midst of those chapters, who the different characters, whatever. And it's okay for those people to no longer be a part of your story right now. That was the hardest thing for me to cope with and understand, is that just because I'm making those decisions, and I'm making them for me, doesn't mean that anything should, generally it doesn't mean that anything should negatively affect those people. But sometimes they feel like it's an attack towards them or a judgment towards them, because they, unfortunately, it's most likely something that they're seeing in themselves as a negative, and they don't know how to deal or cope with why this person who was my ride or die drinking buddy, or my ride or die baseball buddy, which maybe it has beer league hockey, beer league baseball, those things. And so when you look back at those moments and you look presently to what's going on, it can feel like, oh, I'm sad, I'm lonely, I wish I could call those people, I wish I could talk to them. But the simple fact that they have alienated themselves from you means that, yeah, they were probably your friend, but your values that you're chasing have parted ways a little bit. And that is okay. Those people, you can still care about them, you can still care for them, they're still good people. You're still a good person. That's when this part of your storybook becomes very important, and being able to embrace that you're doing the right things for you, but you're about to be traveling down the road less traveled and being in the lonely chapter of your life. You have to embrace that, because it's about to happen, and that's okay. I understand that, and I'm here with you guys. I'm feeling that. I've been very lucky and fortunate. I've stumbled into finding a bunch of crazy people that like to get up way early in the morning and run. That's not for everybody, but venture out of your comfort zone and find those people that like getting up to play chess, and they like doing it with a clear mind, no drinking, maybe fishing with no drinking, no beers in the boat, just sodas. But golf, maybe you have a better dialed in game when you're not drinking, and it just took you a round or two to figure it out. That's okay. Those are the people you got to start gravitating towards. And if it's tough and you still can't find those people, I recommend you find a podcast, you find a book, maybe a book on tape, audiobook. You try to fill your head with something new, change it up a little bit. The same old things are going to remind you and help you down the path of the same old things. So if something like giving up drinking is new, I would recommend trying to find something new to accompany it. But anyway, if people are judging you, or not judging you, that's probably the wrong wording, but they're having a hard time wanting to hang out and whatnot, again, it's not that they're not your friends and they don't care about you. It's that you are pushing limits and pushing boundaries that they are also not comfortable with putting and implementing into their own lives. Therefore, you have entered the lonely chapter. So find that something small, find the new music, find the new podcast, do your best, because it's not a forever chapter, it's not a forever road, and we're not in this thing to just force ourselves into being a loner or lonely, because we're humans and we're made to socialize and cohabitate. But if those people aren't aligning themselves with your goals of fixing your head, fixing your heart, especially when that shit's important to you, that's more fucking important than those people's friendships are. And that's when that lonely chapter, you gotta lean into it. But it's not a lonely life. And it took me a minute to figure that out. as your light shines and you become bigger than what you used to be, you would be wildly surprised at the different types of people that start gravitating towards you, because like-minded individuals end up seeking out like-minded individuals. Lonely chapter, not a lonely life. Something that I'm learning. I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. I'm going to try and take as much and more advantage of as I can, seeing my niece and nephew, my other nephews, get in some more visiting. Something to think about while you're venturing down this storybook that is life. Are you in the lonely chapter? It's hard, but I promise you it's worth it. 1 mile a day. I love you guys, and thank you very much for watching.